All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Extravaganza with yours truly, Captain Lou, and my tag team partner, as always, Mitch Bernstein. And got a great show planned for us tonight. Mitch, it's great to be back in the chair with you. How are you?
Yeah, it's good to be here with you, Lou. I'm doing good. It's change the glass this time. Hold on a minute. Much better, clearer. Love it. It's dark at 7 o'clock. It's dark
Crazy, isn't
earlier.
it?
Can you believe Thanksgiving is 2 weeks from tomorrow?
I know it. I know it. I can't wait only because we get our hands on the Packers and we're going to whip some Packers ass
Well,
in
we're gonna
2 weeks. Can't wait.
and we know what's going on this weekend coming up. We're going to talk about that. Well, we should talk about it now because I actually
Sure.
posted.
Yeah.
All right. Before we do that, before we get to I guess we should make a bet, right? But we went to a golf tournament this past weekend. Willie Stargell Foundation here in Wilmington had a golf tournament, and a lot of former ball players, football and baseball. Had a tennis, woman tennis executive who was the president of the USTA. Asia Evans, former Olympic bronze medalist in the 1988 Olympics with the bobsled. She was there. It was really, we had unbelievable weather. I mean, it was 75, 77 degrees on Sunday. Players came from all over, California, Indiana. Cliff Livingston was there, former NBA player.
Yeah. The Tomahawk.
Oh my gosh, it was great. So I got some contacts. I was, some of these guys you're not sure if you can approach or not. So I met them the day before on Saturday. I was actually doing player check-in. So I met almost all of them, which was really kind of fun. And then I could tell personality-wise who I could talk to. So we were watching the hole number 2, which was the hole-in-one hole. Okay, It was a Jeep Cherokee that, if somebody hit the hole-in-one, they would win it. So we greet them when they got up to the green. We help them with their putts, that kind of thing. And I got talking to some of the guys, which gave me, hello, Mr. McCarthy, thank you for being here. It gave me an opportunity to talk to these guys and see if they want to come on the podcast. So in the near future, I'm not sure exactly when, here's who we got coming on. Former Major League pitcher Steve Lyons. Played for the White Sox, right? Former Major League player Brian Hunter, whose mentor he told me was Ricky Henderson.
Wow.
He led the league in the American League in stolen bases one year, 77.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Mays, son of Willie.
Wow.
He's going to come on at some point. And then Leland Maddox is going to come on, and he's a former executive in Major League Baseball, and he actually worked and did some scouting with Willie Stargell. So those are some upcoming guests. Next week, former Philadelphia Phillies World Series champion Chad Durbin will be on.
Oh, very good.
Make contact with him on Twitter, and Anna DiTomasi, who runs the podcast, the website, Baseball Bucket List. So looking forward to that. Now, getting to this weekend. Lou, who's playing?
Your Eagles and my Lions Sunday night.
And all right. So, I'm thinking we need to make some kind of bet. All right. You're in Michigan. I'm here in North Carolina. Not sure what we can do. What should we do? What do we do?
Well,
or do we want to think about this and maybe you put it on one of your short minutes?
I'm thinking a steak dinner of some sort.
All right. Well, listen, I don't mind a steak dinner. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. All right. Prime rib. Prime rib it is.
Prime rib. I'll take a T-bone or a porterhouse. One or the other.
Okay. I'll go with the prime rib.
All right. Prime rib is good. I'm not sure how we're going to get that to each other.
We'll figure it out. You're going to have to make a trip to Detroit next year. The Phillies play in Detroit the weekend before the All-Star game, I think.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, in July.
Well, we want to come to Detroit and do the White Sox, a new White Sox park and Comerica and and go to Milwaukee. We haven't seen those new stadiums yet, or your stadium. So,
Boy,
man,
I love Milwaukee Stadium too.
it's nice.
Yeah, I do like that. No, you come to Detroit, you've got a place to stay. We're an hour away, but you got a place to stay.
Oh, that's right. I tell my wife tonight.
All right,
fun.
that would be amazing. And then we'll
Yeah.
go out for a steak dinner.
That'd be awesome. And one of us is going to pay.
Right.
NFL, Miami Dolphins. They ended up beating who?
They beat the old world famous Buffalo Bills. That was ugly.
Oh my God! How does that happen? I
don't know. I don't know. I listened to the Eagles game on the way home. I went to our high school football banquet Monday night. I was listening to Eagles Packers. Just mind-boggling how inept that game sounded. And I'm not going to take anything away from Philadelphia, but I think it's going to be a good matchup Sunday night against the Lions. And the Lions pounded on the Commanders, but that's not really much to brag about right now because they're in free fall.
Yeah, I don't know what to think. Eagles defense has definitely stepped up to another level since the beginning of the season. Inconsistent offense.
A
lot of stupid, dumb.
Agreed.
Non-common sense decisions by the coach.
I don't know what to expect on the offensive side of the ball from Philadelphia. I think you're going to score some points because I think our defense isn't all that. Definitely, it's going to take the over on that game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, AJ Brown again, of course, is bitching because he's he makes these public comments and keep it to yourself, dude. We're going to try and get you the ball, but you know what? That defense is probably really good. We couldn't really see. You can't really see and they didn't really tell us a lot about how Green Bay was covering in the secondary. But you got to look at what the game was. Listen. Yes, it was frustrating on the offensive side for the Eagles, as I'm sure it was for the Packers, for sure.
Wow.
But I didn't mind the way it played out because the defenses were really good.
Well, I'll tell you, we got Dan warming up in the bullpen here, Mitch. But all I'm going to say is, if you guys throw the blitz at us, we're in trouble. That was the blueprint that Minnesota had against us a couple of weeks ago. Why the Commanders didn't do it, I have no idea. I just don't know. I mean, we're banged up on the interior of our offensive line. So,
the Eagles don't blitz a lot. They really don't.
Well, that could play into our hands a little bit.
Yep.
I'm just going to make a prediction right now. I'm going to say Lions 35, Philly 31.
And I'm predicting that Detroit wins too. I don't know what the score is going to be, but we have a little pool that we run. You get points, and my daughter always gets angry when I don't pick the Eagles. But I don't know that we don't know what you're going to get with the offense. You know what you're going to get for the defense, and if they can step up, it'll be a close game.
Yeah, 35 might be a little high, but maybe more like 28-24. But I think there's going to be some points scored. And so that's what I'm looking for, anyways. All right, Mitch. Let's bring our first guest in. He's warming up in the bullpen. We just gave him the sign. He's ready.
Hello, Dan. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good. Dan Wallach from the shoelesspodcast.com and My Baseball History. He is a baseball historian. A lot of good information that Dan gives us. Dan, how you been?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Glad to have you finally on. Where are you located in the United States right now, Dan?
I live in Cleveland. I'm originally from Chicago, but I've been in Cleveland for about 2.5 years now.
And Chicago White Sox fan.
Yes, unfortunately. I thought I told my people not to have you bring this up on the show. It's been a terrible past 2 years. It's been, it has tested my patience and made me question whether or not I actually like modern baseball. And the past few years, I've just dove further back into baseball history, which was something I was already super interested in. But it's tough to go into a season knowing best case scenario you're going to win 57 games. Like, it's how do you root for a team like that? And granted, it has been much easier not living in Chicago because I don't have to be like, oh man, it's Thursday, I've got nothing to do, I could go to the game tonight. Like, that's not an option on my plate right now, and that's made it much easier. I would have a real hard time being in Chicago and having to decide, do I support this team or not? I don't think I would. And so being in a different city has made that, taken that choice off my plate for me.
Yeah.
But man, it's been really tough to watch.
Now, let me ask you a question. Did you get the Chicago Tribune every day when you were in Chicago?
I did. I haven't been in Chicago in about 6 years. I moved to South Carolina for 3 years. But yeah, I was a newspaper guy before I left. I've got friends who work at the Trib. So yeah.
Is that right? So you don't have to, the good thing is you don't have to read anything about them either.
Right. Yeah.
That's where I was going. You don't have to see it every day going, oh
yeah.
my gosh, what are we gonna do?
I mean, I still follow on social media, and that's hard enough. And I've got friends in the media who cover the team. So I'm always, being updated with the shenanigans that are happening on the South Side. But yeah.
Yeah. We got to get back. I don't know if you heard me. So Lou and I made a bet about the game this weekend. And listen, on my bucket list, we got to get to Comerica, American Family Field, and Guaranteed Rate Field. We're trying to get them off the list here. My wife, I'm looking at a map that notes right here, United States map. I'll show you real quick. This was a Father's Day present from one of my daughters.
Oh, cool.
So it has these little baseballs in there that show where we've been in terms of stadiums.
Yeah.
Those three are right there, man. And my in-laws live in Peoria, Illinois. So makes it really easy to get there and maybe do some traveling like we always have this year in the last 2 summers at least.
Yeah, Comerica is cool. When you're in Detroit, you should check out the corner where the old Tiger Stadium was. They've got a nice display there. The White Sox Stadium gets a lot of bad publicity from people who haven't been there in 30 years. Like when that stadium originally opened, it was not a good stadium. They have done their best to make it better. It's not great. It's not top 10, but it is a serviceable stadium. You're not going to walk away being like, oh man, that was terrible. The food is good. The product on the field might not be, but the food is always good. So yeah, it's
and Lou's from Detroit, so Lou's a Detroit guy, so he knows about that stadium up there. So yeah, so one of us hopefully will be paying for a steak dinner when we get up there this summer. We'll know after Sunday night. All right, so you have run and worked at the museum. Tell us a little bit about and what got you interested in Shoeless Joe. I'm really interested to hear about that and your thoughts on, will he, do you think, ever get in there? Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so I was born in Chicago, November of 1986. So in 1988, the movie 8 Men Out came out, and then in 1989, Field of Dreams came out. So as a White Sox fan in Chicago, those movies were just like part of everyone's childhood if you were a baseball person. And having the connection to that being my team, because most of my friends were Cubs fans. I bartended in Wrigleyville for 5 years. So like the Cubs are a big part of my life. I don't care about the Cubs, but like it's impossible to ignore them and not have them affect what's going on in your day-to-day life if you're a baseball fan in Chicago. But I'm a White Sox fan. So I've always been interested in the team and their team history. And one of the first stories that you kind of start learning about as part of the team's history when you start digging into that, of course, is the Black Sox scandal. So then add that into, Field of Dreams and 8 Men Out being so, of the time that I was growing up. I just have always been aware of and interested in Shoeless Joe's story. Then in 2009, my parents moved to South Carolina, which was just about the time that the Shoeless Joe Jackson Museum had opened. So I went to go visit them, and we just fell in love with the place. And after 10 years of me going back every year to, visit my parents and play in a vintage 1860 style baseball game for the museum, they asked me if I wanted to come run it, the museum, not my parents. And so it took some convincing because, I lived in Chicago and had a house and had a life there, but it was an offer that I just felt like I couldn't turn down. So I moved to South Carolina and worked there for 3 years. and just continued my research into Shoeless Joe. And I've always loved going on road trips. And one of the things that I have done over the past 15 years, 20 years, is travel to as many places in the country that Joe played baseball, whether they're major league parks or the former sites of defunct major league parks like Columbia Park in Philadelphia, which is where he made his debut in 1908 before Shibe Park was built. He played 5 games for the Philadelphia Athletics at the end of the 1908 season, and that was the final year of Columbia Park. And so just coincidentally, like the short time he spent in Philadelphia, he played at the 2 different ballparks, the last year of Columbia and the first year of Shibe. So I've been to both of those sites, but also after he left Major League Baseball, and he went barnstorming, and he played in the South and kind of like these outlaw leagues in Georgia and in Louisiana. I've been to a lot of those sites too. And that's something that I had been doing before the museum was even really in the picture. I've always loved going on road trips and doing that kind of like obscure baseball history. I'm a collector. I mean, you can see some of the books behind me and things like that, but
yeah,
I've never been able to afford the Shoeless Joe Jackson stuff that's out there that is authentic. Most of it is not authentic, but the things that have survived are now hundreds of thousands of dollars. So to me, like the only way that I can own something that is Joe's is to go to places that he lived or worked or played ball and kind of, walk in his footsteps, no pun intended. Your last question, will he ever get in the Hall of Fame? I have always said absolutely he will. It's a matter of when is it going to happen, not if, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
I have been saying for years before Pete passed away, Pete Rose, that's what it was going to take for the conversation to move to the next step, because Major League Baseball had given Pete chance after chance after chance for decades to admit that he did what they knew he did. They caught him red-handed. And he just refused to acknowledge it and admit it. And they're like, okay, well, if you don't want to help yourself, we're not going to help you.
Right.
And unfortunately, Joe's name has been inextricably linked with Pete's. So they're not going to put Pete in while he's alive because they don't want to give him the satisfaction, which means that Joe could never have gone in while Pete was alive.
Mm-hmm.
But now that Pete's gone, I think they're going to put them both on the next ballot with the Veterans Committee is my guess. No inside information, but this is all just what I've been kind of plotting for the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So what most people don't realize is that Joe has been on Hall of Fame ballots before. He was on, I believe, the 1939 and the 1942 Hall of Fame ballots, and he just didn't get enough votes to be inducted. So I think that is going to be a distinction that the Hall of Fame voters upcoming are going to consider, because Pete has never been on a ballot. And even though he's not been playing Major League Baseball for damn near 40 years at this point, he's still going to be considered a first ballot Hall of Famer if he gets in on the next ballot he's in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even though he's gone and he's not gonna get this honor during his lifetime, I still think the voters are not going to give him that posthumous honor of being a quote unquote first ballot Hall of Famer. It's not Joe's first ballot; it's his third. Okay. And I think they would be willing to give him that honor. And I think it will kind of also be a way for them to dip their toes in the water to be like, what is the public reaction to putting one of these guys in? I think they want to put in some of the steroids guys. I mean, we already have at least 5 in that we know of, right? I mean, Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio, David Ortiz, Mike Piazza, Ivan Rodriguez. Like, there are guys in the Hall of Fame who are people who should not be in the Hall of Fame. If you're going to hold certain standards and hold others, like the steroid line is one that Hall of Fame voters are supposedly holding. But we know that there's guys in the Hall of Fame who took steroids. So I think the betting aspect now, this with the stories that are going on in Cleveland, just coincidentally, I swear it's not my fault. Yeah. Not every city that I move to.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But I think this is going to be the kind of the Hall of Fame's litmus test of exactly how angry will people get if we put in somebody associated with gambling.
Yeah. And he was vehement, right? Joe Jackson. He had nothing to do with it. Now, you have researched this immensely, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is there proof that he was not involved?
So there is proof that he was never at any of the meetings and never sat down and talked with gamblers before the World Series or during the World Series. So we know that he wasn't in on the plot. But we also know that he did know that it was going on. He was aware that it was happening. And kind of the story that is the current way of thinking, and the Society of American Baseball Research, SABR, came out with this incredible project in 2019, the 100th anniversary of the Black Sox scandal, called the 8 Myths Out Project. Like 8 men out, but the 8 myths out, where they're trying to bust the top 8 myths associated with the Black Sox scandal. Highly recommend everybody who's interested in this story check that out. But the what happened was the players were the ones who approached the gamblers. It was not gamblers taking advantage of these naive young players who didn't know any better. It was the idea of the players, specifically first baseman Chick Gandil, who then convinced their best pitcher, Eddie Seacott, if the two of us get in on this, we can make this happen. You know, Eddie Seacott was going to throw at least 3 games in that World Series. He's their number 1 pitcher. Like, if you've got your stud ace fixing games, it doesn't matter how good the rest of your team is, you're probably not going to win the necessary amount of games to win a World Series. So those are 2 good people to have to start things off. The first baseman, who's going to handle as many chances as anybody on the field, and your pitcher, who, you know, is going to be in control of 3 full games. But when those 2 players approached the gamblers were like, it's great that you guys are doing this, but who else is in on it with you? Because you have the best team in baseball. You know, you won the World Series in 1917. The 1918 season doesn't really count in the eyes of a lot of baseball historians because it was shortened by the war, and a lot of the teams didn't have their full rosters with them. Like the White Sox were missing a bunch of their players. Like Joe, for example, went to Wilmington, Delaware, and he was painting ships for the Navy as a part of the war effort, and other players, similar things. So even though they didn't win the World Series in 1918, it's not because they weren't a good team. It's because they weren't a team, really, in the same way that they were, you know, had been years prior. Well, 1919, they've got their team back, and they're by far and away the best team, and everyone thinks that they're going to win the World Series. So the gamblers are like, just because Eddie Seacott and Chick Gandil are in on this, we need other people to be in on it. So convince us that this is worth putting our money into. And so Chick Gandil said, yeah, well, we've got Joe in on it. So that's how his name kind of got brought into this mess in the first place. The thing that hangs a lot of people up, and I admit this, like, Joe did wind up with money after the World Series was over. The distinction that I like to make is that he didn't take money from the gamblers, but he did wind up with money that came from gamblers. And it's splitting hairs in the eyes of a lot of people, but Joe's roommate on the road and his best friend on the team was another pitcher named Lefty Williams, Claude Williams. He was left-handed. They called him Lefty Williams. He was in on the fix. And so the gamblers gave him $10,000 and said, you keep 5 and you give 5 to Joe because we can't get to him. He's told us he doesn't want to be part of this, but we want to make it known to him that we are going to pay him. Like, we want him in on this. And so Lefty put a bag with $5,000 under Joe's hotel room pillow. And now Joe's got $5,000 of dirty money in his possession. Well, he doesn't know who to give that money back to because he's not talking with any of the gamblers.
Right.
You know that the teammates aren't going to be like, oh, yeah, sure, Joe, we'll handle it for you. Like, so he was kind of out on an island at this point. Before the series started, Joe went to Charles Comiskey and told the owner of the White Sox and told him, I don't want to play in this series. I've got a bad feeling. You know, I just don't want to be involved with what's happening. And Charles Comiskey, the same thing as their manager, told him, you're crazy, Joe. Nothing's going to happen. You're going to be fine. Just play. You're our best player. We need you out there. And so they convinced him, okay, play. And he played a great series. He had the highest batting average. He set the record for most hits by a player in a single World Series that stood until 1964. He had the only home run by either team hit in the World Series. You got to remember, this is the last year of the dead ball era. So the 1919 World Series was the last time that a dead ball was used. So Joe Jackson hit the last dead ball era home run in baseball history in that 1919 World Series. The White Sox scored 20 runs in that World Series. Joe scored 5 of them and drove in 6. So of the 20 runs that the White Sox scored, he accounted for 11 of them. He didn't commit an error in the field. Like, if this is a guy who's trying to lose,
Right.
Imagine how good he must have been when he was trying to win.
Yeah.
So that's always my kind of spiel about Joe, is that like he was great. I think he was trying his hardest. When you look back, like I said, they won the 1917 World Series, which is the thing that most people don't understand or remember or know or recognize.
Mhm.
But the same team won the 1917 World Series, and he batted 304 in that World Series. So he batted 304 in the one that everyone thinks he was trying to win, and he bats 375 in the one that he's trying to lose. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. Yeah. It's amazing, all that history, which is great, Dan. Just terrific information. Love it. Real quickly, we got just a couple minutes. I want to mention your shoelesspodcast.com is your website, right? And then My Baseball History is your podcast.
Yeah, so My Baseball History is it's a long form interview podcast where every episode I talk to somebody new who has some sort of association to the game. I call it My Baseball History because every episode we talk about that person's individual history with baseball. So we talk about how they got started, how they fell in love with the game, where their career began, how they got to be where they are today. And we've spoken with former players, former Negro League players, former All-American Girls Professional Baseball League players.
Yes.
But we've also talked to the bat boy from the Big Red Machine of the 1970s. We've talked to the official historian of Wrigley Field. Yeah, go ahead. You got a question about
Nancy Faust.
Nancy Faust. And Nancy and I have become good friends since that episode. And it was funny because it took her so much convincing for her to feel like she was somebody worth talking to. And I'm like, Nancy, everybody loves you. Like, your story is so significant. She invented walk-up music, this woman. In 1972, when Dick Allen played for the White Sox, every time he came to the plate that year, she played the theme from Jesus Christ Superstar. And Sports Illustrated wrote about it and said, like, this is this guy's personal music, introduction music.
Yeah.
And the crowd loved it, and it became such a thing that, like, she began playing individualized music for all of the different players. And she literally invented walk-up music. She also... Most people don't understand that Harry Carey, before he was a broadcaster for the Cubs, was a broadcaster for the White Sox. And before that for the Cardinals, which is a whole other thing. But as a broadcaster for the White Sox, he and Nancy Faust were the ones who repopularized the tradition of playing and singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" during the seventh inning stretch. That was Nancy Faust.
Wow.
She was playing it during the seventh inning stretch on her organ one day, and Bill Veeck, who owned the White Sox at the time, noticed that Harry was singing along just to himself in the booth. And the next game, Bill Veeck turned on the mic without Harry knowing, and it started going out over the PA to the stadium. And the whole crowd started singing along with him. And Bill Veeck was like, "Oh, I think I just stumbled on something here."
Yeah.
And so then it became a thing, and they started doing it. And now, it's a tradition that happens in every ballpark at every level of baseball, from minor leagues and little league to the majors.
Exactly.
Nancy Faust started that.
That's cool.
So she has an incredible tradition. I used to run a record label called Artistic Integrity Records in Chicago, and I brought it back this year because Nancy and I re-released her debut album from 1978.
Cool.
It's called Nancy Faust at the Game. It was originally released as a one-time only vinyl pressing, just only appeared on a vinyl record. And since 1978, it's never appeared anywhere else. But I had the audio completely remastered and digitized, and we released it as a CD. So updated liner notes, pictures from the era, 1977 and 78 is when everything was recorded and released. And the first 10 songs are Nancy playing live at Comiskey Park during a Yankees game. And the second half of the album is Nancy playing live at Chicago Stadium because she was also the organ player for the Bulls.
Right.
So those songs are her playing during a Bulls Golden State Warriors game. So those CDs are available if you go to shoelesspodcast.com, and you can buy a signed version that Nancy signed, or you can buy a regular version too, or just the digital, whatever you want. But yeah, she has become a great, like, personal friend more than just a podcast guest.
Right. Terrific. Dan, listen, I wish we had more time. We'll probably have to get you on it again, maybe during baseball season. We have another guest coming on, but thank you for all this quick, awesome history.
Thank you.
Yeah, folks, if you're listening, go to My Baseball History and shoelesspodcast.com. You'll find some really good information run by Mr. Dan Wallach. Dan, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on, taking the time.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
Well, Mitch,
right.
breaking news.
Breaking news.
Tariq Skubal has repeated as the Cy Young Award winner.
Okay.
The National League, they're announcing here shortly, probably when you're on with Greg, I'm just kind of refreshing.
Okay.
It just has the American League winner. He wasn't unanimous like last year. So, but Skubal has repeated. He's the first one since Pedro Martinez back in 99 and 2000. And the first Tigers since Denny McClain in 68 and 69.
Wow. Yeah. Those were way back. That was before Greg Rawlings was born.
Yeah, 68 and 69.
Greg Rawlings, he's a young guy. Get him on here. Because I know he may look old because he's got a stressful job.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
there's only gray right here, man.
Okay, that's fine. Wait till you get this. Look at me. Look, come on.
I just shaved my beard yesterday, and you think yours is gray. Mine is. I have the Santa Claus look, and I shaved it. So
mine's all gray. I don't do anything with it anymore. Greg, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. Thanks for having me back on. How you been?
I'm doing really good. Loving life down here in Wilmington. Got to visit my granddaughter Halloween weekend up in Pennsylvania. Amazing, just amazing. So it's amazing to have that child in our lives. She's a joy. My daughter and her hubby are doing an amazing job raising that child. She's happy. She's funny at 20 months, Greg. Oh, my God. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
How are Addie and Landon doing?
Addie's getting adjusted to life at Marshall there on campus. She's a creature of routine. It was different for her, but she's settling in.
Good.
Enjoying her college experience. And then Landon just wrapped up his soccer season, and he's looking to probably, against Dad's hope, not play baseball this spring and maybe do travel soccer.
Okay. So, Lou, Landon, Greg kept us informed on here about Landon's progress. And what was he a sophomore? Is he a sophomore?
No, he's a junior this year.
So he started last year and he on the varsity this year. He was, just from what I saw from Greg, he scored the most goals on the team. Is that right?
Yeah, he's actually been varsity all 3 years in high school. So he's up to 40 goals now for his career. He went from 16 his sophomore year to 20 this year, and he actually had 12 assists to go with the 20. So I'd say about 85% of the goals the team scored, he was involved, whether he scored or he had the assists.
Yeah, truly amazing. So Greg put it out there, and a lot of us were pissed. He didn't make any of the all whatever teams, and I was mad when I saw that. And a lot of people that follow Greg were like, I could feel the angst with this dad who's watched his kid play and score all these goals and play so well for this team. We're like, what the hell's going on?
Well, I mean, I got to give him credit because he didn't pout about it. He's back up on the horse, and he says, you know what? Our school wasn't that good overall. I had good stats for individual, but we didn't get very far. So maybe if we get further next year, maybe I'll get some, following that way. But he's like, I'm going to go ahead and play travel soccer and then see what happens. So I'm proud of him from not giving up and then saying, maybe I got to push a little harder.
Listen, and that's a good dad thing. You're a really good dad, I can tell. Taking your kids on trips and doing stuff with them, it's really fun to see. So you do a great job. I got to tell you. So let's talk about real quick the World Series. What were your thoughts going in, and then what happened at the end? What do you think at the end?
All right, so pre-World Series before it started, I picked Dodgers in 5, about probably like everybody else, right? And I'm gonna be honest, I get kind of pissed off now. People acting about like the Dodgers bought this World Series. Yes, they spent $100 million more than the next person if you talk about deferred money. However, you got to look at it. They get high character guys. Like they get the Mookie Betts, they get the Freddie Freemans. Like you get Yamamoto, who's wanting to pitch Game 7 after he pitched a full Game 6. You got high character guys, and it kind of reminds me a lot like the '90s Yankees team, who, granted, these are more superstars than like the '90s Yankees, but they were more like just gamers, right? And they felt in their positions nicely. The team gelled, but so I'm gonna say this. The Toronto Blue Jays gave them every single bit they could handle. And if it wasn't for a few base running blunders, some coaching decisions, Toronto Blue Jays are this year's World Series champion. So to me, it showed me that, parity's better than it's ever been. Yeah. I mean, because, and people forget, Toronto's in the top 6, I think, in payroll as well. But the Dodgers are the first time in the 75-76 Reds in the National League to repeat.
Right.
And they're the first time since the 25 years since the Yankees and all of baseball. So they just did what we haven't done in a quarter of a century. So to me, I'm more pissed off at the owners who are taking that money from the Dodgers, on the give back, and then they're not putting it in the product in the field. So yeah, I think we need to be more worried about that, in my opinion, because the Dodgers, if you're a Dodgers fan, you're loving life because they're putting the money back in the field.
Yeah, you're right. And listen, they have to have the scouting knowledge. They must have a great scouting system. Unlike the Phillies, I don't know about the Braves, but I'm not convinced about that the Phillies have a great scouting system because they haven't brought anybody up as a rookie as a good rookie. Because I think, you know why? They're scared. The damn Phillies are scared to bring him up because I think they're afraid of putting all this pressure on these kids. No, get him out there. You saw, if they don't have the mindset, like Alec Boehm, I can't deal with the pressure, then get out. Nick Castellanos, I'm tired of seeing you lug your freaking slow butt in right field, and you can't deal with the pressure either. Get out. I don't want you.
Easy. I'm friends with his mom on Facebook.
Well, I'm not.
Neither am I.
I won't be now. I'm friends with Bryson Stott's mom. But it's like, find somebody, a painter. They say he's going to be up with us where they don't have the mental capacity to be able to play. I think that what the Phillies did this year, and what I forget who said it at the end of the series or middle of the series, what were your expectations? World Series. In the World Series, I forget who it was, one of the players on the teams. We don't have any expectations. We go day to day. The Phillies from day one, we're going to make the World Series. You know what?
Yeah.
They played with pressure, and they won 96. But when it came down to it, again, they stink it up. So Braves.
Before we move on to that, I didn't even tell you after the fact, I felt like you could say that arguably it might have been the best World Series on paper that we've seen. I know a lot of people, I'm still partial to the 91 series with the Twins, but even though we lost, but 18-inning game prior to Game 7, I mean, it don't get any better.
No. Lou, your thoughts too, right?
Yeah, I didn't get to watch all of it. Obviously, with my work hours, it's pretty difficult for me to watch it. But I've got to say, if it's not the best one, to me, the best one might be the 75 World Series with the Reds and the Red Sox. But that was before your time, Greg. So right
for it.
But it was definitely a very good series to watch. What I did see was very good. I can't take anything away from the Dodgers. They won me over this year. I wasn't a fan of theirs last year. And Yamamoto showed me something I didn't think he had. And I think that it's a testament that pitchers can throw 140 pitches. Pitchers can throw complete games. And it's, you never know when you're going to get back there. So I think that's why the Tigers, I thought, left a lot on the plate. But congrats to the Dodgers.
He's a Detroit guy. He's in the outside of Detroit. So, we were thinking Detroit, Phillies during the season, that kind of thing, and it just didn't happen. So, Greg, tell me about the Braves. We know how hard it was for. I mean, listen, perennially there, forever, right? Injuries play a big part, huge part.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the beginning of the year, Vegas had us only behind the Dodgers as the World Series favorite. So obviously, it's kind of hard to win the World Series when all 5 pieces of your rotation are on the 60-day IL at one point.
Yeah.
They were pulling guys like Carlos Carrasco, Eric Fetty, players like that, just to have a guy who's pitched in the bigs before, just to go out there every 5th day. So I'm gonna be honest with the nucleus we have locked up, and the next 5 years, like any of the next 5 years, we're not in the playoffs. Is probably going to be in the minority because this team's built to win. They need to address the starting pitching. Obviously, we need to address the shortstop position because the days of running Rafael Belliard out there on a contender, the slick fielding shortstop, don't hit any home runs. That's the thing of the past. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Nick Allen was a runner-up for the Gold Glove Award, but he couldn't hit his weight. So, I mean, they're not bringing him back. Maybe as a utility guy.
Yeah.
But they've got to upgrade shortstop, starting pitcher. Even though our bullpen's a mess, AA has made it clear that shortstop, starting pitching, and then the bullpen in that order.
And you have a new manager that you're
I wasn't a fan at first. I wasn't a fan at all.
That's what you said, right?
I was wanting them to go outside of the organization, maybe branching off from the Bobby Cox tree, just to maybe hear a different voice. But then they hired Walt Weiss, which he's been the bench coach there. He's had previous experience in Colorado managing. He's also been a Braves player. He was the Rookie of the Year at the A's. I mean, so he's a baseball lifer. And the players talk about how fiery he is and that sometimes Snit would have to calm him down. So maybe that's what we need. I'm glad that he brought in a younger staff and he brought in coaching members from all over the league.
Oh, he did.
That were younger and they're highly respected. So maybe give a little bit of those franchises and mix and match, and maybe we get something that hits, And I don't really feel like you need a ton with this group. I just feel like because you do have some grounders that'll play every day. But I feel like we've addressed shortstop and starting pitching. No offense, but I feel like there's no reason why we're not at the top of the East once again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it can be a good team. I mean, Michael Harris has to step up a little bit, right, with his hitting. He wasn't good this year. Is that right?
Second half, he turned it up. Like second half, if he'd hit like he did first half, and like second half, first half, then he'd have been an all-star this year.
Right. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Free agency off season is going to be interesting to see who signs where. Does Pete Alonso stay with the Mets? I think he does again. I don't know. The Phillies have to sign Schwarber.
Talk about betting on yourself with Alonso, man. 1-year deal, and he's like, you know what? I still hit. I'm coming back on the market again. We'll see what happens this time.
It's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. Lou, what are your thoughts on Alonso? What are your thoughts? Anything?
I think he's going to end up back with the Mets.
I mean, the Phillies don't need him. I mean, people were talking about, imagine he's a terrible fielder at first base.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
not good.
Yeah.
Now, do you DH him? Well, you got Schwarber. What are you going to do with Schwarber? You're not putting him in the outfield. Can Harper go to right field? Absolutely. The Braves don't need him, right?
Nah, they've already pretty much said they're going to DH between Murphy and Rookie of the Year Drake Baldwin and let the catcher stay fresh.
Yeah. Drake Baldwin, it's funny, Greg. I didn't see a lot of him play, and I'm sorry I did because I love watching. One of the things I love about baseball every year is seeing these young kids come and play. I didn't see enough of him, and I hit myself for that, going, I should have been watching this kid a little bit more.
So think one thing to take away for next year when you watch him and you pay attention when you see him next year is, as young as he is probably the best rookie I've ever seen as far as play discipline. He doesn't chase. Like he's one of those players. Like if he's not chasing, you pretty much assume it's not a strike. And like it was weird for me to watch him because the moment really, I know we didn't have a lot of like high intensity moments because of our record, but nonetheless, when the game was on the line, there wasn't a moment that was too big for him.
That's what you want. I mean, and that's what you saw that in the World Series. There were some chases, but again, the Phillies, I said this all year. third highest chase rate in the league. It was incomprehensible. What are you doing? Harper, JT, all of them. Schwarber, not so bad. He was, I think something came out today. He was 25%. But Harper and JT and Nick, who will be gone, they all freaking chase, and it's annoying as hell. Harper's was 35% for the year.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So yeah,
It's a game now.
that's good to you need to not swing at crap in order to be successful. Contact hitters. We saw that in the World Series. Are people going to go the other way like they should with the pitch on the outside? They should. I would love to see them do that, but I know the Phillies don't, but that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. All right, Greg. These are my cards that I want to give you. Hopefully, if we get 100 viewers at some point, this is the Mark Race. Where is it here? Mark Race auto. Personally,
that's the 90. Was that 90 tops?
yeah. All right. If we get 100 views, it would be nice to get these away. That's my goal. Here's a Josh Donaldson.
Oh, nice.
So what I just might do is send these to you, and I'll let you know if we get 100 views.
Sounds good.
And if we don't, you know what? We'll give them away anyway. What the hell? I mean, I found him. I said, let's do this. Why don't we just give something? Because that's what you do.
That is give shit away, man.
Thursdays. It's great. Over 500 Major League Ball players on that list. Did you hear who I met this past weekend?
I didn't see it.
Okay. So Willie and I were talking about it. Willie Stargell Foundation had a golf tournament to raise money for his foundation. I met most of the celebrities on Saturday. I was the check-in guy. Tony Womack, Michael Mays, who has said he would come on the podcast, son of Willie. Brian Hunter,
Nice.
sweet guy, man. Unbelievable. Steve Lyons, pitcher. And then Leland Maddox, who was a former in the management in Pittsburgh and worked with Willie when they went scouting. Stargell. So it was those guys that come on. Tony Womack is crazy. He's funny as all get out. So all these guys came in, and it was like Cliff Livingston, Too Tall Jones. I got a picture with. I mean, it was really, really fun. Bob Kendrick from the Negro Leagues Museum. Right. It was really fun. You should come down next year in November.
It's in Wilmington?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to.
Volunteer. You don't do anything. You don't have to pay anything, and they sent me on the hole-in-one hole to monitor that with another guy. It was so much fun to meet these guys. I thank them all for being able to watch them, as a major leaguer. Going back, I told them, I'm a 60-year baseball fan, and they genuinely appreciated it. So it was pretty cool.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. I know you're missing home there in Philly. So just to let you know, we got 4 inches of snow yesterday here in West Virginia, which never happens before Thanksgiving.
Oh my God.
We had that on Sunday.
You guys, and I'm going to complain that it was freaking cold here the last couple of days. It was 31 degrees this morning. But guess what? It warmed up to 55 with the sun out. I shouldn't tell you this, but it's going to be in the mid to upper 60s and low 70s on the weekend here.
You got it pretty good, man.
I know. It's awesome. It really is. It's a lot of fun. Greg, thank you for doing this.
Yep.
Appreciate you. And the America's Pastime Love for Baseball. It's nuts, Greg. 60,000 plus members, right?
We're up to 525 former players.
525. All right. It's unbelievable. It's awesome. All right. I'll let you go. I appreciate that. I got some young high school football players to talk to. Where I used to live, it's the Garnet Valley School District. I've been following these kids, this team, since my kids went to the school starting in 2007. That year, they went to the state championships, which was amazing. And they've been a playoff team ever since. That's like 18 years of playoff football.
Nice.
And the young man I see and his other player, phenomenal seniors, had a phenomenal season. I can't wait to talk to these guys. But Greg, thank you very much again. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother. Until next time.
Take care. All right, good stuff here. And now these are the two guys I was looking. I shouldn't say that, but really looking forward to talking to. Lou, these guys had phenomenal playoff games. Absolutely fun. I mean, Paxton was a beast on the offense. Clayton, you did amazing on the defense. I was like, what the hell? Who turned Clayton on? Holy crap. I mean, it was nuts. Paxton, Clayton, hey, listen, I know it hurts to lose, but I was so impressed. And Paxton and Clayton, I had you both on early in the season. And to be able to watch your progress throughout the season and how you guys matured. I told this to your coach. I was at the game, the Upper Perk game. And I said to Eric when they came off the field, because I wanted to talk to him, because we actually had never met in person. I said, Eric, I got to tell you something. I've been watching this team, 18 years. And to me, this is the youngest team I've watched, but the quickest to mature. Because what I've seen in terms of the progress that you guys made on the offense and the defense, it was truly fantastic to see and watch both of those units do a hell of a job. So congratulations on that. Paxton had in the Upper Perkiomen first round playoff 200. Now, Paxton, you got Clayton. I was lucky. So I went up to the booth. I wanted to meet Greg, right? Coach Greg. So he said, come up to the press box. I said, okay. So I go knock on the door. I walk in, and there's the guys spotting. The basketball coach was there, and Mr. Winter was there. And I went into it. I said, is Greg here? So I went and talked to Greg. We met in person for the first time. He says, where are you going to watch this? Where are you going to watch? I said, well, I was going to go to see. No, you want to stay here in the press box and watch? I said, really? Are you sure? Yeah, just go get a chair and sit down. Oh, was that cool? Yeah. So I had a great view. I was warm. It was awesome. And Paxton Lou, 214 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Amazing.
Clayton, isn't that the game you had to pick, right?
Yeah.
He had a pick. He was on. How many tackles you have that game? You must have had 8 or 10.
Yeah, I think I finished with 9.
See? I kept track. I didn't even know. I just knew it. He was on the field all over the place. Guys, that was a tremendous game. Paxton, give me your thoughts about your journey in this senior year from the beginning to and through the game last week against Chester.
Yeah, I mean it was just tons of ups and downs. I look at the whole season and it's like kind of like a roller coaster. There were really highs and some really low lows. But as a team, we really didn't get down on ourselves. And as a captain, it made my job easier that the team stuck together and stayed driven towards one goal instead of kind of branching off our own ways and being like, oh, we start 0-2. This is it. This is going to be the worst season in Garden Valley. But, when you have a team that really sticks together and completely trusts each other, it makes it so much easier. And I'm just so grateful from the improvement that we made from the first 2 games to, that last game, and just being on the field. Everything was so much easier from week 0 to week 12 we got to. It was amazing to see.
Yeah. Clayton, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't start how we wanted it to. But in the back of our mind, we knew that was a possibility. It was such a young team. But yeah, I just thought we all trust each other. None of us panicked. And I mean, just the fun we had at practice and how much we had fun competing, I think that made it really easy to get better throughout the season, which is why I think we improved so much. Is because we just love to be out there together, and it made it fun for all of us.
Yeah, and that didn't start late. That started last spring? Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Where you guys are in the weight room and you're just staying in shape. And I mean, do you guys have a spring or a winter or spring sport that you're going to be participating in?
I play lacrosse, and he played. Yeah, he wrestles.
Yeah, so I wrestle.
So, Paxton, you're wrestling.
Yep.
Man,
yes,
what weight class is that?
I'm gonna go probably 215.
Okay, all right. And you wrestled before, right?
Yeah, this is let's see. Longer than I think football is. My 13th year.
Is that right? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Listen, yes, the I'm gonna go back to the Perk game because it was awesome. It was just that first 7 minutes, 21-0. Paxton, there was nobody stopping you. It was unbelievable. The coaches saw something, and then those offensive linemen opened up, and you just zipped through, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It's funny because, to be honest, that week of practice was absolutely harder than the game. And it's just a credit to everyone around me. Everyone around me, the O-line and the scout teams. Clayton, he's like my biggest enemy on the practice field. I hate him. But, in the game, I really didn't have to do much. I just kind of followed them and trusted them. And that was it. You really look at it, I didn't have to break many tackles or make many guys miss. It was just go pretty much.
It was. I'm sitting there. We're all up in the press box going, we're looking at each other going, is that all there is? There's still 5 minutes and 28 seconds left, and it's 21-0? What the heck?
Yeah, I remember on the field with Joey D, the other cat. I was like, he looked at me and he's like, this is the longest first quarter I've been a part of.
It was. Now, Clayton, on the opposite side, all of a sudden their quarterback starts throwing passes, and I'm guessing, obviously you're playing zone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened at halftime? And they closed the gap quite a bit, right, at half. So what happened at halftime? What changes were made on the defensive side on that?
Like the entire week of practice, we obviously game planned, but we also knew that we hadn't played a team like this pretty much all season that had a quarterback like they had. He was like 6'2", 240, hard to bring down. So we knew that if we didn't get pressure, which we did, but it was just tough, that he would have time. And I think a lot of the time when we're in zone, especially when we haven't had to do it a lot all year, and switch on the guys and kind of man it up, kind of got lost a little bit. But we went into halftime, and it was just a lot of just constructive talking and stuff. And we figured out in the second half a lot more with just being able to play more of like zone with man principles and just flat out zone where they were kind of getting behind us. And that really helped. And also, the defensive line in the second half was pretty unreal. And that made our jobs a lot easier. But we knew it would be a little difficult, and we just had to adjust to halftime, which I thought we did a good job of.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. As you brought that up, I thought, something changed defensively in the second half, because in the first half, that quarterback was rolling. He got out of pressure and he kept rolling. And listen, it's hard to, even especially in his zone, I'm guessing, to get those guys covered when you're giving them so much time. But in the second half, the defensive line came at him a little bit more. And that, again, like you said, made your job a lot easier. All right, let's move to the last week's game. Those kids were freaking huge. Oh, my God. What are those guys eating? They were huge. I'm watching on TV, the guys and Greg in the booth, and he's like, yeah, he got a couple of big kids out there. What was it, 6 something and 340? The offensive line, how do you get through those guys? What was the plan? You knew how big these guys were. What was the plan to try and eliminate or get through these guys?
You don't really see many players like that when you play, let alone two on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about our program so much is that when we look at a team and scheme for them and prepare, we're not very big on, we're going to attack this guy and this guy. It's kind of just, we believe, we're very focused on ourselves. It's like, we believe that our guys can do this, this, this. And instead of being like, we need to do this so that we can stop this, it's that we're going to do this and we're going to stop them doing it. Mm-hmm. As you saw, it didn't go our way, but I believe that was the perfect plan. All week we just said on the scouting report that they were big.
Right.
but we didn't really have practice be like, oh, you got to beat him this way. You got to do it. Was really just let's read our keys and let's play football the right way.
Right. How about you, Clayton? What did you experience out there?
I mean, yeah, obviously they had a very dynamic offense. Like it was kind of, they could just kind of pick your poison a little bit with them. So, and we knew there was going to be, like, they had those two backs, they had a bunch of good receivers, and obviously their quarterback going to practice. But I mean, the thing that just, it's playoff football is they threw out three route trees that they pretty much ran all game that they hadn't run all season. So, you know, it's the factor of unpredictability, which, I mean, obviously at the playoffs, you have to know that teams are gonna scout extra hard on you, which, I mean, like Paxton said, something we don't really pride ourselves doing. We're more focused on ourselves. But I think a little bit of our problem was that. And I mean, I thought we stuck together and we read our keys. I mean, if you go back on most of their plays, they were just great plays by them and not really mistakes on our part. I mean, I'm sure we have a bunch of missed tackles, a few coverage breakdowns, but I mean, for most of the time it was just, you know, them just making the play.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, there's a difference, like you said, between playing guys, again, that size. I mean, I don't know how you do it. I mean, the guy's, you know, he's this big, and I'm going against him. It's an immovable thing. It's like, I was joking with my wife. I said, you know, instead of getting up to the line, because the line they were moving you guys back pretty much, I thought a great ploy would have been get down in your stances, then move back a yard, stand up, and they don't even know it. And then when they're running forward, they're going to fall on their faces. Ha ha! You guys fell. Now we know where you're going. But no coaches do that. That was kind of but listen, can't complain about the season, right? Like you said, especially because you did start 0-2. It was like, oh, what's going on? And I knew, and I was looking at the lineup and the roster, young team, right? Very young team. And to get to those playoffs was a huge accomplishment. So, and with your guys' leadership, obviously, of course, that's the most important thing I know in this program is that the seniors run this team. The seniors are given the opportunity to teach and lead and mentor the younger players. And you guys did a hell of a job. I mean, you and all the seniors. It's a credit to you guys, as it has been for all the time I've been watching, you know, for 17, 18 years, that this team plays hard. They play with compassion. They play with camaraderie, communication, and honesty. And that's a great team. That's a great team attitude. And you can't go wrong with that. So Paxton, again, tell me again. I know you did before earlier, I think, maybe when you were on before. What are your plans for next year?
So yeah, I'm gonna try and play football in college. I'm still figuring out where. I definitely have some of my top schools that I'm narrowing down that I want to go to, but I'm keeping everything absolutely open. But the main goal is to play football next year.
May I ask what division it might be?
That's also another thing that I'm going to see.
Okay.
If I want to go play Division I, then it has to be the absolute perfect fit for me.
Gotcha.
Because if I'm going to make that much of a commitment, then I need to know that that's the exact correct decision that I want to make and feel 100% comfortable there. But, you know, Division III definitely has its perks. So I'm still evaluating which, if there's, you know, one I like more, one I like less, you know, it all will come together and hopefully figure out a path.
And one last question. I love the prod because I'm interested. I know that Division I is a huge commitment, right? Huge. But are there teams recruiting you from all three divisions?
Yeah, there are teams. I've talked to some D1 AAs, definitely not like Power 5, but okay. D1 AAs, D3s are the big ones right now.
Right.
Talking to a bunch of them, some D2s. Kutztown, actually, I think my coach told me are going to reach out.
Okay.
They're D2, I'm pretty sure. So still figuring it out, but
Okay.
mostly division. Yep.
Okay. All right. So good luck with wrestling.
Thank you.
Have a good time with that. I
Thank
could
you.
never do that. Ever.
Brutal.
Ever. Hated wrestling in gym class. Just
Yeah.
scared the crap out of me. Clayton, what's up for you next year, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm a little bit more uncertain than Paxton. Like I said, I play lacrosse.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've obviously been getting recruited for. I mean, for the past year now. Similarly, like all 3 levels at Division 1,
Good.
Division 2, Division 3. Football is all. I mean, this past year really showed me how much I do like football and how So obviously that could be open, and then also just or college. I mean, it's kind of I'm very up in the air right now. We got like a lacrosse season coming up.
Yep.
So during football season, I kind of took a break from recruiting there, stopped going on visits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm very up in the air right now about what my future has.
All right, I will try and follow you guys and talk to Eric and see where all you guys are going because follow the team. I'm interested to see where you guys go. And I like to follow GV players wherever they go, because I can look it up on ESPN and if it's something I can look at the stats and go to their school websites and see, hey, look at that. Paxton ran for whatever, for this school, whatever. And Clayton, hey, he's playing lacrosse somewhere. Cool. I'll find out because that's just what I do. I like to follow people who I know. And even though we haven't met personally in person, I feel like I know you guys a little bit. So that's what I will do. Guys, listen. Congratulations on a really good season. Great season. It wasn't good, it was great because you did what you had to do. You got to that second round of those playoffs. And listen, not many teams do that. That's what you got to know. And I know it's hard to lose, but you know what? There's really only ever one winner. That's what everybody says, right? There's only one Super Bowl champion. There's only one World Series champion, Stanley Cup champion, whatever sport, only one. But you did what you had to do to get to where you did, and for that you should feel proud.
Yes, sir. We definitely are. As bittersweet as it is, it stinks to lose, but after a couple of days, you reflect. I'm definitely 100% grateful and in debt to everything that went into it and everyone that helped me go through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, have a great school year. Have a great holidays.
Thanks.
Best of luck, Paxton, in your wrestling for your senior year, and Clayton for your lacrosse in your senior year. All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. All right, Lou. Really nice kids. I mean,
terrific.
It's
funny, with Freeland, their season coming to an end. It's the toughest part that these kids learn. It's the first lesson of finality when something's over. I mean, I talked with our coach, and these kids I think we don't give these kids enough credit for being as resilient as they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes it hurts me or it hurts us more than it does the kids.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like I was talking to Freeland's head coach. We lost in the first round, 17-13.
Oh, you did? Okay.
That, we had quite a few opportunities to win, but it just wasn't meant to be. And, it's just, we were talking last Friday and he said, I'm not quite ready to go watch a high school football game yet. Play another playoff game yet. And I said, yeah, I had the opportunity to call a game last Friday. I just wasn't ready. I'm going to call a different school this coming Friday.
Okay.
It's like the quarterfinals now. But yeah, these kids, the dedication that they show is incredible. And Mitch, it seems like they get bigger, faster, and stronger every year, doesn't it?
Yeah. You should have seen these kids on Chester.
Yeah.
On this Chester team. I think the kid was 6'3" or 6'4", 6'5", 340. Two of them. And they went both ways.
It's amazing. Yeah. Like I mentioned, I was at our banquet Monday night, and after it was over, one of the players that I interviewed on my coach's show last year and this year, he came up to me. He's going to Michigan State. Well, we'll see, after what the hell's going on there. I wouldn't blame him if he doesn't after they got slapped with all their violations today.
Oh, something happened to that? I didn't know.
Oh, they ended their old coach Mel Tucker, his GM, and another assistant. It was found out or it was brought out in the public today that they gave inappropriate benefits and plane tickets and whatnot, and so Michigan State had to vacate 14 wins over the 2022 to 2024.
Wow.
And well, Mel Tucker's gone. He got fired for a lot of stupid stuff. And the coach they got now, all his wins from last year were vacated because the kids were on the team.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's a mess. But anyways, Tristan came up to me and said, hi, this kid's 6'7", about 300, 280, 300. It's just, these kids tower over you now. It's
crazy.
It's amazing.
It's nuts.
Well, Mitch, I found out who won the National League Cy Young.
Yeah.
It was Paul Skeens.
Of course.
So unanimous was the vote, which kind of surprised me.
What?
Yeah, unanimous first place votes. Yep. I thought Sanchez might beat him. I really did.
Hello. He had a.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's all about the popularity, I think, the name. Sanchez didn't, he's in the background. Yeah. But we love him. He's awesome.
So
he's terrific.
Skeens became the third pitcher to, in his first 2 years, win both the Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the other two?
Are you kidding me?
They're relatively recent.
That's what I thought. I was initially going way back, but there's no, that didn't happen way back.
Since you and I have been following baseball. I mean, even a little later than when you and I started. So,
who is it?
Fernando Valenzuela, who won them both in 81.
Okay.
And Dwight Gooden, who won Rookie of the Year in 84 and Cy Young in 85.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
That is it. Listen, we know how good he is.
Yeah.
But, he's wasted in Pittsburgh.
Well, he'll be a Yankee in 3 years.
Yeah, he's just wasted in Pittsburgh. Even though I read today they think Pittsburgh might do something, I'll believe it when I see it in the offseason.
To Greg's point earlier, it's so funny, Mitch. I go back and forth on the Dodgers, winning. Yeah, they've developed some talent, but they do. I don't care what anybody says. They've got an advantage with the television revenue that they generate in Los Angeles over a lot of these mid-market teams. And, they can afford it.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say these other owners can't afford it. His point about the money they're getting back, I guess I get it, but I don't know. You'll never convince me that that's good for baseball.
It's not fair to a degree. How do you even it out? I don't know. I was talking to one of the players of this weekend. I forget who it was. I said, well, what do you think about the lockout? Is it going to happen? He said, yeah, it's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to last long. I said, okay. I didn't go any further, but how do you solve this? Like we talked to Joe Goldberg last week, 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was. He doesn't know. I mean, how do you know? It's going to be a stalemate. We don't know enough, I guess, about the opportunities to settle this thing. How, if they're so set against the salary cap, and that's what the owners want, how do you breach that? I don't know how that happens.
I mean, do you put a floor, like a salary floor, in to force some of these teams like Pittsburgh and Kansas City, and because it's like that's why I go back and forth on this with the Dodgers. I mean,
does that floor become the average in between the top salary team and the lower salary team? Is that
they did that with the NHL. You've got a salary cap floor. So, but in baseball, these teams are getting so much money from television, so much. What do they do with that? I mean, and the ticket prices aren't getting any cheaper.
Nope.
And these concession prices are
off the roof.
I mean, where does it go? And that's my, I don't understand. I don't. I think there's going to be a lockout and or a strike in 27. I mean,
Yeah.
it's inevitable. I think
Yes, it is.
what I think is going to end up happening, Mitch. I think the season's going to start like June 15th or maybe July 1st, and because both sides will just be hemorrhaging money, and one will cave. But it's going to be a black eye for baseball.
Oh, it will be as it has in the past. This former player happened to say he doesn't think it would last long
Well, I hope not.
they got too much of a good thing going right now, and with these young players and so we'll see that. I mean, listen, we always say the fans are going to end up leaving, and it always ends up coming around that people come back. I'll be waiting.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting with bated breath. I have no control over it. Am I angry that they're going to have a lockout? Yes. Do I want to watch baseball? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have no control. But I really wish they could start talking today about next year. I don't know that they do that. Why can't you start talking now? That's the thing.
If you know what, I hearken it back to, all the contracts that I negotiated with my union. We never started. The last one, Mitch, we settled before our contract expired. Was the first time in 16 years. All the other ones we waited. We ended up getting a 60-day extension. So I think the owners are thinking that mentality because they figure that, you know what, we're gonna wait it out as long as we can because we're making money.
And this commissioner is not going to force anything because he's a win. But if Jane Levy, who wrote a book about making me commissioner, had anything to do with it, she'd be getting those teams together today after these general manager meetings and and start talking and saying, listen, you're going to screw up you're going to screw it up for the fans. Do you care about the fans? If you do, because they're the ones paying the money, then you need to start talking now.
It takes two to tango. And
you know what?
Yeah, and the last go round, the one that really pissed me off the most was Max Scherzer. Really, here's a guy that's made $500 million.
Yes, gazillion, yes.
And he's talking like he's broke. And it's like, come on. I can't feel sorry.
No.
I don't feel sorry for the players anymore. I don't. I mean, I'm all about somebody earning as much as they can, but I still don't think they had the best interest of all the minor league players at heart in the last go round.
No, they didn't. Oh,
and I don't. That's what really frustrates me. But Mitch, we all know this. Baseball's got the strongest union in all professional sports.
Yes, they do.
It takes two to tango for them to come to the table early too, like you mentioned. I would love to see them start talking, at All-Star break time next year.
Even that, yes.
Just get together for, one day, and then with technology the way it is, have a Zoom call once a month, or whatever. And maybe they will.
Hey, that's something we can talk to Chad Durbin about next week.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's on the agenda. That was definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Who would know better than a former player?
Yeah, you know what? That's going to be interesting. I'll be interested to hear his opinion on that. And I would love to see. What I want to ask him is how much input does he? I don't think he was ever on the bargaining committee, but how much input does the everyday player really have when it comes to these contract talks?
Yeah.
And the reason I ask that, Mitch, is I go back again to what I went through. We used to put out feelers and letters and surveys, and we were lucky if we got a 10% response back.
Yeah.
So that was difficult.
Yes, it is.
So that's kind of what I want to ask him. What kind of feedback and opportunities that do the players have?
And maybe we start by saying, listen, Chad, give us what you know about these negotiations. How did it start? Who's in the room?
Yeah.
And what, so right now, what do you think is going to happen between the players sitting down with the union sitting down with the ownership and saying, all right, guys, what do we got? What's going on? Well, we want a salary cap. Well, you're not getting that. Okay, so how do we make it so? Is there any talk about the fans? Is there any talk about not stopping because you're going to piss off a lot of people? Or are they going to say they come back? Like I just said, they'll come back anyway. How does it work out? Maybe he's got a solution. I'll message him and ask him.
I think it's different now than the last strike or lockout or whatever. What was that, 94?
Yeah.
Because I think football has got such a stranglehold on the American public, and basketball. I think this is baseball's chance. They had a great postseason to overtake basketball again as the second most popular sport in our country. And I just think if they have a lockout of any extended period of time, the younger generation again is just going to say, screw it.
They're going to lose them.
They'll stick with the NBA and the NFL, and they'll be twisting in the wind, and it's going to take a home run chase with cork bats and steroids to bring people back again like it did in 98.
Oh, Lord have mercy. It'll be somebody will be creative and something else will happen.
Yeah.
We'll bring back the juice ball.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. It's sad that we got to talk about that.
I know.
But it's the unfortunate reality. But hey, we got football coming up this weekend. It's actually Sunday's there's like three good games, in the late window.
Yeah.
With us and then with the Rams in Seattle.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah. Better get ready and go to bed here pretty quick.
Right. We got to sign off. Let you go to some sleep.
All right. Well, hey, thanks to everybody who joined us tonight. All of our great guests as always. And, thanks to you folks for taking a few moments or the whole broadcast to watch us. Just remember, if there's an interview you missed or there's a part of it you didn't get to see, just subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Captain Lou Sports Network, and all of these shows are on there archived, and you can pick it up wherever you'd like. And it's that simple. It's one click. And, we invite you to do that. All of our shows on the network. So
awesome.
All right, Mitch.
Next week, Chad Durbin, Anna DiTomasi from Baseball Bucket List are on the docket.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy the games this weekend. Go Lions. And, of course,
go Eagles. Steak dinner on the line.
I want that prime rib. All right, everybody. Until next time, for Mitch Bernstein, yours truly, Captain Lou, saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long.